Iran, a name that echoes through 5,000 years of history. Once the heart of the greatest empires the world has ever seen, a land of kings, conquerors, poets, and power. This is the story of Persia, the empire that shaped civilizations, the empire that rose, fell, and rose again. This is the history of Iran. In 10 minutes, before we begin, imagine a land surrounded by mountains and deserts, a land where ancient tribes wandered and settled, a land destined for greatness. This is where our story starts. In the shadows of time, long before written records existed, it begins around 3200 BC with the Elamites, one of the world's oldest civilizations. They built great cities in the region we now call southwestern Iran. They developed their own writing system and traded with ancient Mesopotamia. For thousands of years, they thrived in silence, laying the foundation for what was to come. But the real power rose in 550 BC, when a warrior named Cyrus the Great united the Persian tribes. He was not born into power. He seized it. With military genius and strategic brilliance, he forged the Achaemenid Empire, the first true Persian empire. And it would become the largest empire the ancient world had ever seen. At its peak, the Achaemenid Empire stretched from Egypt in the west to India in the east. It ruled over 44% of the world's population at that time. Imagine that. Nearly half of all humans on Earth lived under Persian rule. It connected 3 continents through trade, culture, military might, and a network of royal roads. But Cyrus wasn't just a conqueror, he was a liberator. When he conquered Babylon, he didn't enslave the people, he freed them. He freed the Jews from Babylonian captivity, allowing them to return to their homeland and rebuild their temple. This act of mercy echoed through history. Cyrus allowed religious freedom across his empire. He respected local customs and traditions. He created the Cyrus Cylinder, often called the first declaration of human rights. Even his enemies respected him. Greek historians praised him. He didn't rule with fear. He ruled with vision, wisdom, and tolerance. After Cyrus came Darius the Great, who expanded the empire even further. He built magnificent palaces at Persepolis. He created a system of roads, taxes, and communication that connected the entire empire. Under Darius, Persia became organized, powerful, and wealthy beyond imagination. But Darius had ambitions. His eyes turned west, toward Greece. He wanted to punish the Greeks for supporting rebellions against Persian rule. And so the wars began. The famous Greco-Persian wars that would be remembered for thousands of years. Marathon, Thermopylae, Salamis. These names echo through history. Darius sent his armies, but the Greeks resisted. His son Xerxes continued the war with an even larger army, hundreds of thousands of soldiers crossing into Greece. But the Greeks held their ground. Against all odds, they defended their homeland. At Thermopylae, 300 Spartans and their allies stood against the entire Persian army. They fell, but their sacrifice became legend. At Salamis, the Greek navy destroyed the Persian fleet. Persia's westward expansion stopped. The dream of conquering Greece was over. For now. In 330 BC, everything changed. A young Macedonian king named Alexander the Great stormed into Persia with revenge in his heart. He was only 25 years old, but he commanded one of the most disciplined armies in history. Battle after battle, he crushed Persian resistance. Alexander marched through Persia like a storm. He defeated King Darius III at the Battle of Gaugamela. He captured Babylon, Susa, and finally reached Persepolis, the heart of the Persian Empire. And there, in an act of fury or celebration, he burned Persepolis to the ground. The Achaemenid Empire, the greatest empire on earth, fell. 200 years of Persian dominance ended in flames and ashes. But here's the truth about Persia. It never truly dies. Its culture survived. Its language survived. Its spirit survived. It always does. After Alexander's death, his empire crumbled. But Persia rose again. The Parthian Empire emerged around 247 BC, ruling for nearly 500 years. They were fierce warriors, skilled politicians, and masters of mounted combat. Their horseback archers became legendary across the ancient world. The Parthians were Rome's greatest rival. While Rome conquered the west, Parthia controlled the east. The two empires clashed repeatedly. At the Battle of Carrhae, Parthian archers annihilated Roman legions. They stopped Roman expansion cold. Rome could conquer Gaul, Britain, and Egypt, but they could never conquer Parthia. In 224 AD, a new dynasty rose from within Persia. The Safavid Empire took over, and they had one mission: restore Persian glory. And they succeeded. The Sassanids revived Persian art, culture, architecture, and religion. Zoroastrianism flourished as the state religion. Fire temples burned bright across the land. The Sassanids rivaled Rome, then Byzantium. They built stunning palaces, developed advanced irrigation systems, and created beautiful works of art. For 400 years, Persia was a superpower once more. The Sassanid era is often called the Golden Age of ancient Persia. Then came the Arabs. In the 7th century AD, a new force emerged from the Arabian Peninsula, Islam. The Arab armies, united by faith and purpose, swept across the Middle East with incredible speed. In 651 AD, the Sassanid Empire fell to the Islamic Caliphate after the Battle of Nahavand. Persia was conquered, but not broken. This is what makes Persia unique. The Persians embraced Islam, but they kept their language, they kept their culture, they kept their identity. They didn't just survive, they influenced the entire Islamic world. Persian became the language of poetry, literature, and administration across the Caliphate. Persia became the intellectual heart of the Islamic Golden Age. While Europe was in darkness, Persia was a beacon of knowledge. Scholars like Avicenna revolutionized medicine. His books were studied in European universities for centuries. He was called the father of modern medicine. Omar Khayyam mastered mathematics, astronomy, and poetry. He calculated the length of a year with incredible accuracy. His poetry still moves hearts today. Rumi, the great mystic poet, wrote words of love and spirituality that still inspire millions around the world. Persia didn't just survive conquest, it shaped the world. But darkness came again. In 1219, the Mongols arrived. Led by Genghis Khan, the Mongol hordes swept across Asia like a plague. They burned cities, destroyed libraries, and slaughtered millions. Some historians estimate that the Mongol invasion killed up to 90% of Persia's population. Persia was devastated. Ancient cities turned to rubble. Knowledge was lost. Generations perished. It was one of the greatest catastrophes in human history. But once again, Persia endured. Slowly, painfully, it rebuilt. And something remarkable happened. The Mongol conquerors eventually adopted Persian culture. They learned Persian language, embraced Persian art, and ruled in Persian style. The conquerors became Persian. In 1501, a new era began. Shah Ismail founded the Safavid Empire and made a decision that would shape Iran forever. He declared Shia Islam the state religion. This decision separated Persia from its Sunni neighbors and created a unique Persian Shia identity that still defines Iran today. The Safavids turned Persia into a cultural and artistic powerhouse. They patronized artists, poets, and architects. They built stunning mosques, bridges, and palaces. Isfahan, the Safavid capital, became one of the most beautiful cities in the world. Visitors called it half the world because of its magnificence. By the 1800s, Persia weakened. The Qajar dynasty ruled, but they were ineffective against foreign pressure. Britain and Russia moved in like vultures, carving up influence and territory. Persia lost lands in the Caucasus to Russia. Britain controlled trade routes and ports. The once mighty empire became a playground for foreign powers. Then oil was discovered. Black gold beneath Persian soil. And suddenly, the West wanted control more than ever. Persia's resources became a curse as much as a blessing. Foreign companies extracted wealth while Persians remained poor. Resentment grew. The seeds of revolution were planted. In 1925, a military officer named Reza Khan seized power and crowned himself Reza Shah Pahlavi. He was determined to modernize Iran. He built railroads, factories, and schools. He gave women more rights. He changed the country's name from Persia to Iran. He wanted Iran to join the modern world. His son, Mohammad Reza Shah Pahlavi, continued this path after World War II. Iran modernized rapidly. Tehran became a cosmopolitan city. Women wore Western clothing. The economy grew. But beneath the surface, problems festered. The Shah's government was authoritarian. Secret police silenced dissent. Many Iranians felt disconnected from their traditions and religion. Anger grew. Religious leaders spoke against Western influence. Students protested. Workers went on strike. By 1978, the streets of Iran were filled with millions demanding change. Revolution was no longer coming. It had arrived. In 1979, the Iranian Revolution erupted with unstoppable force. The Shah fled the country, never to return. From exile in France, a 76-year-old cleric named Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini returned to Iran. Millions greeted him. He established the Islamic Republic of Iran. Everything changed. The monarchy that had ruled for 2,500 years ended. A theocracy began. Islamic law became the law of the land. Women were required to wear hijab. Relations with the West collapsed. The American embassy hostage crisis shocked the world. Iran became isolated, defiant, and determined to chart its own course. Today, Iran is a nation of contrasts, ancient and modern, proud and isolated, religious and rebellious. 80 million people live in a country with one of the world's oldest continuous cultures. Young Iranians connect with the world through technology while living under strict religious rule. Iran sits on vast oil and gas reserves. It has a highly educated population. Its scientists and artists achieve great things despite sanctions and isolation. The tension between tradition and modernity defines daily life. Between the government and the people, a complex dance continues. From Cyrus to Khomeini, from empire to revolution, from glory to devastation and back again. Iran's story is one of resilience. No matter how many times it falls, it rises. No matter who conquers it, it transforms them. This is the land that refuses to disappear. Iran's story is far from over. What comes next? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain. This ancient land will continue to shape history just as it has for 5,000 years. This is Historiopedia, history that feels real. Subscribe and experience history like never before.